There are two kinds of neighborhoods in the United States. In the first one, you open your front door and walk. There are sidewalks, trees, other people. The neighborhood has a life of its own. In the second one, you open your door and there's a 4-lane road. No sidewalk, no shade, nowhere to go on foot. The grocery store is half a mile away, but you still have to drive, pull out onto the road, and park in a sea of asphalt the size of a football field. Both exist right now, in 2025, in the wealthiest country in human history. But one of them was built without sidewalks, on purpose, and that decision, made decades ago, in conference rooms nobody remembers, is behind a chain of consequences nobody has fully explained to you. Until now. After World War II, America had a pitch: land, space, and freedom. Millions of families left dense city neighborhoods and moved to the suburbs. New houses, yards, fresh air, away from the noise and the grime. And the government bankrolled all of it. The Federal Highway Act of 1956 built 41,000 miles of roads. Government-backed mortgages only covered new suburban homes, not existing urban neighborhoods. Zoning laws were rewritten to separate everything. Houses here, stores over there, offices somewhere else. The sidewalk became literally unnecessary. If you need a car for everything, why build one? And so, without anyone voting on it, millions of miles of American neighborhoods were built without a single foot of walkable space. Nobody banned walking, they just made it impossible. Which turns out to be the same thing. Not every neighborhood followed that path. In older East Coast cities, Boston, Philadelphia, parts of Chicago, streets already existed before the car. They were narrow. They had sidewalks. Retrofitting them would have cost too much, and residents pushed back anyway. What looked like a failure to modernize turned out to be an accidental advantage. Those neighborhoods held onto something the suburbs had discarded without much thought: the ability to live life on foot. Nobody called it forward thinking at the time. They called it being behind. In 1947, William Levitt built an entire city from scratch on Long Island for 82,000 people. Identical houses, wide streets built for cars, no sidewalks, no corner stores, nothing that invited you to walk. Newspapers called it a marvel of modern planning. The government called it the blueprint for America's future. It got copied everywhere. Hundreds of Levittowns under different names in every state. The logic seemed airtight. Families have cars. Families have garages. Who needs to walk? Here's where the data gets uncomfortable. When there's no sidewalk, you don't walk. Not because you're lazy, because there's nowhere to go. Suburban streets run at 35 or 40 miles an hour with zero separation between cars and pedestrians. Walking isn't just unpleasant, it's dangerous. Urban planners have a name for this: forced car dependency. It's not that suburban people prefer to drive, it's that the environment makes every other option impossible, and the consequences compounded fast. The average American suburban household spends over $12,000 a year on transportation alone. For decades, millions of families picked the cheaper house in the suburbs, without counting the second car, the insurance, the gas, the repairs, the time. The affordable house came with a hidden invoice, and it arrived every single month. Dense, walkable neighborhoods, the ones that seemed cramped and outdated, consistently outperform on almost every metric that matters. Residents report higher happiness and stronger social connection. Kids have more neighborhood friends. Older adults stay physically independent longer. Economists have documented that for every point a walkability score goes up, property values rise. People have always paid more to live somewhere they can walk. Nobody was measuring it when the suburbs were being built. But what makes this genuinely unsettling isn't the money. It's what's happening inside people's bodies. The CDC has spent 2 decades documenting that Americans in low walkability areas have significantly higher rates of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Not because they eat worse, because their environment engineered movement out of daily life. Walking to work, walking to grab groceries, walking to a friend's place. Those micro doses of activity that for thousands of years were just called living. Designed away, gone. More than 7,500 pedestrians die every year on American roads. Most of them on exactly the kind of 4-lane suburban street built as the national standard. That's not bad luck. That's geometry. And then there's what's hardest to measure but easiest to feel. When your day runs from the garage to the parking lot and back, you can go entire days without a single unplanned human encounter. No running into your neighbor. No stopping to talk to anyone. No stranger. No smile. We built loneliness into the street plan. And then we wondered why everyone felt alone. Sidewalk-free neighborhoods didn't just eliminate walking, they eliminated the physical conditions for community to exist. In 2023, Congress approved funding to add sidewalks to suburban communities across several states. The wait list runs through 2031. Think about that. The richest government on earth is running a wait list for concrete strips next to a road. Meanwhile, new subdivisions going up right now in Texas, Florida, Arizona are still being approved without sidewalks because local ordinances don't require them, because developers don't want the extra cost, because nobody shows up to city council to fight for something that doesn't exist yet. You can't protest the absence of something you've never had. And the neighborhoods already built this way, they're not getting fixed. Not because it's technically impossible, but because the houses, the streets, the distances, and 70 years of daily habits were all built around that absence. The mistake is load-bearing now. Some decisions seem small when you make them. The sidewalk wasn't a detail. It was the difference between a neighborhood and a parking lot with houses. Step outside right now, or look out your window. Is there a sidewalk? Can you walk anywhere from where you are? Or does the place you live assume you'll always have a car, always be healthy, always be able to drive? That question has more consequences than it looks like. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And suddenly, the place you live starts to look very different.